So I brought it. We are live.
Hello and welcome to Team SI's Midday Roast, where we talk about some of the different marketing topics and tips that we trade back and forth, and this is our time to share it with you. I'm here live on Facebook. Today we're going to be talking about Facebook marketing tips, and today to discuss that topic I have Senior Account Executive Jessica Duff here with us, and also Senior Account Executive Lauren Faribault. Thank y'all for joining.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So one thing before we get too far into this, let's make sure that we go and share this feed on Facebook. And we'd ask you to do the same if you're watching us already. I'm going to share. All right, watch me.
Watch.
Yeah.
All right.
Posted. Awesome. And I think it may seem like a somewhat basic topic, Facebook marketing tips, but I think it's important for us to do this every now and then because, do you remember when did you start using Facebook?
Oh my gosh. In college,
Yeah.
2005, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Oh, about you, Jessica, about the same time?
Yeah, it came out when I was a junior in college, so 2004.
Yeah, and it's changed a lot since then, and it's changed a lot since last year. And Facebook is all kind of similar to Google, is always changing their marketing algorithms, their advertising algorithms, adding in new features, and different things are becoming important if you're wanting to increase your brand awareness and your brand engagement across the most popular of all social media platforms. So let's.
Sharing it with Rihanna is really fast.
Oh, nice synergy. That's what we like at Team SI.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
So I think a good place for us to start is the importance of setting very clear goals with any kind of activity that you're engaging with from an advertising or marketing perspective on social media. What are some of your when you're setting up a campaign or going through before we even are setting up a campaign, when you're sitting down with a client and talking to them about what we want to accomplish via Facebook as a social media platform? Take us through that process.
Yeah, so we really, the first step is really to sit down with the client and talk about Facebook and what they want to do for their business. Is it to drive more people through the door? Is it to make more appointments? Or is it to sell something online? And those are all going to really dictate what we do there from Facebook and how we post and how we use it, depending on their goal. Because if they're wanting to drive traffic in the store, that's not really something that we can measure on Facebook. We're trying to get people in the door. But if it's more measurable where we can actually see the click-through rate of somebody clicking through to the website, making an appointment for something, or purchasing something online, then we're really going to focus on driving traffic to the website more in our post.
Yeah, and a call to action can come into a lot of that. How do you take us through the selecting a call to action process and when one might be more useful than the other?
Well, like Lauren said, that's one of the things that you derive from that initial meeting. I mean, if they're ultimately wanting people to perhaps go and buy something from their online store, then obviously Shop Now is going to be your easy call to action. Facebook has, through a lot of their ads that you can place, pre-selected call to actions that you can select when you're creating an ad. But maybe you're not trying to push something specifically through an ad, whether you're trying to do a sign up or sell a product or learn more. Just on your business page alone, underneath your cover photo, having that call to action set up that's available for business pages, whether it's a sign up or contact us, with Clark Exterminating and Discount Auto Glass. Those are both appointment-based clients that we have, and their Facebook pages have a contact us. So if you're on their page and you just realized a rock hit my windshield, or I saw that roach in my kitchen this morning, you see that call now that's directly from Facebook, because people are on their phone and they're on Facebook all day long, so that's kind of top of mind, and you're giving them the ability to reach you right then.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to point out that a lot of people weren't aware of that Facebook made that update, that you to put a call to action actually on the page as opposed to not just on your posts or your advertisements on Facebook.
And it's when you're on the Facebook app on your phone, it's one of the first things you see when you open a business page. And then on the desktop, if you have the voice calling activated with your desktop, you could do that as well. But in the case of somebody, maybe a form fill out, if they're on a desktop, would be more beneficial. But that click to call ability is fantastic.
Yeah. And I think it's good to play around with that a little bit sometimes. You know, if they have a specific campaign going on where you really want to make sure that they're going to your website to sign up for a newsletter or something, then, you know, change that to sign up. But for normal, everyday business things, then you want to stress those.
Yeah, and then sometimes I feel like on a off sale, like when you're not really necessarily, when you know they're not going to make that immediate decision to either schedule an appointment or make a purchase right then and there, or even call. I love to learn more when you're just trying to drive general traffic to the website.
Right.
And then with for some kind of campaigns, you can get really specific, like see a menu. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a couple of restaurant clients like Tazikis and Petite and Key Panini Music Company, and on their pages, adding that menu button was like so important, especially for newer restaurants, or maybe what restaurants that don't have a website created yet, or a place to house that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got our kind of campaign set up. We've got our page. We've got our call to actions. But we're looking at the first couple of days results, and we're just we're seeing a lot of impressions, and we're seeing some clicks, but we're just not seeing a lot of like engagement. We're not seeing people like either commenting or sharing or even clicking or like going to the website. What are some things that we can do to boost that campaign?
I think it's sometimes looking at past history of posts and kind of seeing what your audience is more interested in, what they're more engaging with, to really kind of get to know your audience and see what they're, what they want to know about. But I think it's okay to try different things, and I think A/B testing, that's where something like that can come in really handy, is try 2 different creatives, try different photos, try different ad text, and really see what your audience is responding to more. And I think that that's really a great thing that Facebook is offering, to run 2 different creatives of the same campaign at the same time. We have the same goal, but the audience is seeing 2 different things.
Yeah, A/B testing is a great example, because I had a campaign for a restaurant, Colton's, a few months ago, and we initially started that with 2 different call to actions. One was get directions, or maybe it was a call now or get directions. The other was see a menu. I was really thinking that get directions, because we were timing these around lunchtime, that's what they would see. But what people really wanted to do was see the menu, see what I'm going to have when I get there.
Yeah.
And that was way more successful, so we switched everything over to see menu.
Yeah, that ability to A/B test is huge, and the key is for us being able to discuss this with our clients, but as the actual business, to know who your audience is, because that will really kind of get everything going in the right direction. How you're going to phrase something, like with a healthcare client, we probably wouldn't have emojis and exclamation points in ad copy, whereas something that's more fun, like our Riolana's clients, we're talking to moms, that kind of fun, more relaxed language would work. So being able to really know who your audience is before you even get started, and then with that, doing the A/B testing for sure.
Yeah, I'd say it's a great way to not let your preconceived notions about what you think your audience wants kind of blind you. To always let data drive that decision point. Great. Well, another big rollout that happened this year is that Facebook is really encouraging businesses to start using Facebook Messenger more and more with the way that they kind of communicate and market to their customers. Have you had any experiences?
I have one as a customer where the messenger came into play, and I was dealing with DirecTV. We had an issue with our reception, and I'd reached out. I usually turn to social media first before picking up the phone and calling, just because I don't have the time sometimes.
Yeah.
So I tweeted something and never really heard back, which surprised me. Then I went to their Facebook page and opened the Facebook Messenger, and within 5 minutes I was talking with somebody. And over the course of the almost 6 weeks that we dealt with this, that was my back and forth. Well, my husband also, he's old school, he picked up the phone and called and was talking to somebody. I was supplementing that with the Facebook Messenger conversation, and I thought the responsiveness, and they have on their page, we respond between these hours or whatever, and I think that's great. I've used it for clients, recommend it, when they're inquiring about something, but making sure that the customers understand, if you send us a message at 2 in the morning, it's going to be 8. And we're 9 a.m. before we respond.
And Facebook is allowing that automated message, to go back. So it's like, okay, we respond between these hours. So if you're sending this, where it's 2 o'clock in the morning, don't expect a response right away.
And so you don't have to worry about if you're, if you're a place that shuts down at 5, or like or a repair shop or whatever, and you don't have to worry about somebody having a bad experience with your brand, because I tried to get a hold of you. You said the message on Facebook, and nobody answered for 12 hours.
There's that sense of immediacy with Facebook and social media that I did it, so you should respond right away.
Yeah.
But being forthcoming on your Facebook page, responds between such and such hours, and then setting up the autoresponder that you can actually do in the Facebook Messenger platform, like Lauren said, so that it will send something when you're not there.
Yeah. It's interesting too, as a customer, I've started to see like this business is online or something when I've been in the Messenger, so you can actually see if they're actively responding to people right then. So it's like you kind of expect that immediacy when you see that. And that kind of puts pressure on us. Like if we're seeing it for clients, it's like, okay, we've got to respond right away because they can see that we're online right now.
I do have a tendency to check my clients' Facebook pages at 10 o'clock at night, so I should keep in mind that I'm also being visible to my audience.
Yeah. And I'll just say, as a consumer, I think it's a great idea because we live in especially while we're working, we're multitasking. We're often doing the same. While we're working, we're also trying to do some home tasks or some shopping tasks. It's a lot more easy for me to be engaged with your brand when I'm chatting, with somebody on Facebook. It still looks like I'm working. I'm not just goofing around. I'm definitely not on the phone on company time.
Right.
So I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, that is very true.
So this is something that I think Facebook does not do this by default when you are setting up an advertising campaign through them. They often, will say you should be doing, targeting, this much mobile, this much display, or this much, desktop, this much tablet, this much audience network, etc. But what they're saying now is that it's really important for you to segment those against those audiences. The folks that you're targeting on their desktops versus the folks that you're targeting on their mobile devices. Lauren, what do you have kind of experience-wise, and why is that important?
Well, I think it's important because you're going to see the ad differently on mobile and on desktop. Your text is going to look a little bit different, so it's important to have that shorter, more concise text on mobile, but you're also going to want to accomplish something different on mobile. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm driving here, I need those directions right now. And so when you see that ad, that's what you want to find out first. But if you're on desktop, you can kind of more leisurely, do your research. And so your call to action can be a little bit different because of where the person is.
Yeah.
And Facebook has it set up where they do have the text limitations when you're setting up ads. And we've noticed with some campaigns that we have the ability to kind of be a little bit freer with text, but it gets truncated on the mobile device. So being able to set up, okay, well, here's my desktop text, here's my mobile text, and if need be, a tablet text. So it's going to look appropriate for and visually appealing, because if you see something on your phone that's truncated, it doesn't look as professional.
Yeah, I agree. And so still kind of within this realm of the Facebook ad network, let's talk about ad targeting a little bit. It keeps improving. Whether it's getting finer tuned with the geo-targeting, with the different interests and other data points that they're offering as far as how we're going to kind of winnow down this audience into only the folks that are in market for the services that we're providing. I know this is all something that we work with our own media team quite a bit when we're ironing out a campaign. Okay, let's have this. Okay, pull back on this. No, we don't want to target those people. Don't target those people. Yeah. What are some experiences you've had?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to really narrow down that audience. And it's like if we're running a campaign for an educational institution, we don't want to target people that already have degrees. We want to
Right.
make sure that those people are excluded, even if they're great fans of the institution because they're alumni or whatever, or they work there. We're not trying to get them to sign up for online classes.
Yeah.
We want to reach those students that don't have the degree yet, that maybe had to leave school for whatever reason and they're coming back. So we want to make sure that we're targeting that right audience there and getting as specific as possible. And I think that's the key with Facebook targeting is you've got to get as specific as possible. It's about that precision marketing with them.
Another thing, if you're trying to solicit for new customers, people who are like fans of your page are probably likely already a customer.
Right.
So when you're setting up any sort of ad campaign, don't include the existing fans as part of the ad campaign. You're wasting money by doing that. But to that effect, if you have existing fans or perhaps an email list that you as a business have accumulated several email addresses, you can upload that and create an audience and disclude those names, but then create a lookalike off of that. So people who have the tendency of those who are already your customers then reach out, and people who have those same traits and habits and interests on Facebook, you can reach those. Now, they may not translate into an exact customer, but your targeting is more likely to result in conversion.
Yeah, I agree. I love a lookalike audience, and another thing that I love that I think can be really effective is one of my clients, they really want to target folks that like their competitors.
Right.
And it's really easy to go in and say find all the people in a certain geography that have liked these different competitors, and now we're sending them ads. But how many people have just clicked a like thing because Home Depot was giving away a tractor or a little lawn tractor for everybody who liked their page, and that doesn't necessarily mean that person's in market for the weed eater you're trying to sell at your local place. So what I like to do is then you can add on a different layer that and kind of further winnows it out. So they have to like one of these other pages, but they have to have made a transaction for one of these types of products within the past year. Because Facebook now has a lot of transactional and kind of consumer third-party data that you can even get a little bit more fine-tuned.
The midst of all of this, people are probably thinking, God, that is so creepy. I
know.
They have to figure out. But we take advantage of the creepy factor and turn it into a conversion for our clients.
I'm sure both of you have had a client tell you that is just so creepy.
Oh, I hear it almost probably once a week.
Yeah.
Completely.
So, and then we've got our ads ready. We're ready to start running them. People think, okay, now we're going in. We'll just go, 24/7. That's not what they should do, is it?
No.
Right. How do you kind of develop a scheduled, time cycle of when your ads are showing? What's the first thing you look at, and then how do you go about that?
I think it depends on the industry too. If you're a restaurant, you don't want your ad running at breakfast time if you only serve lunch and dinner.
Right.
You want to make sure that your ad's running right before lunch, where people are already kind of starting to think about what they're going to have to eat, and then make sure it's running through closing time. Because again, if it's 11 p.m. and you closed at 9, you don't want people to see your ad advertising whatever food special you have that day.
Right.
We want to make sure that those ads are kind of shut down and according to your business hours. We don't want to advertise, call now for more information if it's 7 o'clock and nobody's in the office. So it's really going to depend on the industry and the business hours and when people are answering the phone and when you can actually shop and get the product as according to kind of the time of day that you're going to run the ad.
And if you don't have, if you're not showcasing a special for the day or a call to action message of call now for more information, then it's more like brand awareness than doing it in the evening and seeing when your fans are active on your page or active on Facebook. I mean, a lot of folks, there's kind of that peak time around 8 o'clock at night during the weekdays primarily when there's just such a high peak of traffic on Facebook because people who have families have usually put the kids to bed. People who eat dinner at normal hours have finished with their dinner, and it's kind of like the winding down time, so people are on Facebook. So you just have to be aware of what your message is, and making sure that it complements the advertising schedule that you're running.
If you're
Absolutely.
wanting people to like really read an article or watch a video, then that 8 p.m. time is great because
Exactly.
they have that unwinding kind of time where they have that more leisurely, cushion that they can actually watch or read or pay attention to.
Yeah.
They can watch the video with the sound on instead of just reading the caption.
Yeah. And I'll point out too that a great way, say if you don't know what time you need to be running your ads, a great way to go figure that out is actually go to Facebook's chief rival, Google. Go to Google Trends. You can just go to google.com/trends, and you can actually granulate to see like whatever you're trying to sell or produce or get people interested in. See when people are searching for it.
Yeah.
That's telling you exactly when people are needing that the most.
Facebook Insights is a great tool too because you
True.
can kind of see time of day when people are actually on your page and when your people are online. So
And
that's
you're seeing
also
specifically for your page.
exactly.
So you just mentioned something I think really important about Facebook captions,
Mhm.
and Facebook is making a big push into video. They have this year. They were doing that the year before, and they've been trying to it's been a crucial piece on their kind of turf war with Google and YouTube. And I saw an interesting stat the other day. I think it was the thing that Grace sent around to all of us that while video content on Facebook is hovering at just around like 1%. Like it's actually like producing 7% of all the brand awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So that seems like the best way to kind of multiply whatever you're doing is by doing some video content. And of course, we believe that
Right.
Yeah.
in the Facebook Live regular feed.
And
But
live video was one of the big factors that is 2017, but really I think it's picked up in the last couple months where
Yeah.
you see more and more brands are going live. I follow I guess it's kind of like a blogger boutique type style business called Jane. I think they're based out of are they based out of somewhere in the Midwest?
Yes.
But they go live all the time, and they'll walk around their office and just show people working, or hey, we just got in all these new clothes. We're just going to show you really quick some of the new stuff that you're going to see on the site, like. That
Absolutely.
ability to interact and kind of you get that behind the scenes feeling, so you kind of feel like you're getting something that the normal customer may not see if they don't jump on. Rialanas is actually really good about doing that with event sale. Like last night, Rialanas was live. Consignor check-in is all done, so they had 3 days of over 144,000 items coming into the Expo Center in Conway. And they walked around the Expo Center, were just showcasing some of the stuff, and then it ended with a huge contest. I'm not going to say what the contest is because you have to go watch the video to find out. But it is a great contest, and I was very excited as a parent who wants to go shopping. But that interaction where had you not watched the video, you wouldn't know what the contest was. And then what's great about Facebook is that once your live video is done, it's on your page for as long as until you want to delete it, if you would.
And you can even like embed it in a blog post on your website.
Yes.
Right.
See down the road.
Yeah.
So
And you can promote it later on too.
Yeah. Or you can turn it into a podcast,
You can.
just like we do 1 week from today. And then, I think it's also important to point out, like you said, about captioning your videos.
Yes.
Because most videos are going to be watched without sound, especially, something that, comes on while we're at work, while we're working and checking our Facebook feed and pretending I'm definitely watching, what are they saying? It's the opening up.
You're in the meeting and that accidentally starts playing.
Yeah.
Crap.
Oh no.
Not that I would ever do that, but
Is it tough to get a video captioned like that?
I think to get an accurate, we actually ran into this last year with Levada Children's
Yeah.
Hospital in Memphis, trying to find something that would adequately caption these adorable children when they talked. And we found a couple tools. Not all of them were free, but Facebook has come out with an automatic captioning tool now that you can use. But the key is to check the word.
Yeah.
Don't just upload, hit auto, and then let it roll. Like, read and make sure. It takes a little bit of effort to do that. But it's better than sitting there and transcribing an entire script if you needed
And I
to.
think it is better than YouTube's, and YouTube's has had a lot of issues
Yes,
in the
it
past
has.
that we've experienced.
Yeah, and YouTube isn't designed, their format isn't like play silent first. Their
Right,
format
no,
is
not at all.
skippable.
Yeah.
That's so. I think Facebook recognized that in order to make these video ads and just the video marketing itself work, like if they were going to run autoplay, they had to make it help it be compelling and help it be clickable and help it be engaging. So video ads. So that's one type of ad. What are some other ads that Facebook is offering now? Because each time I log in to start a new campaign or kind of check on things, I'm always surprised by another like different way. Like they turned. Like I used to love local reach, and now local reach is just about all kinds of reach. It's. I think for people like us that's kind of are savvy on all this, it's really easy to overlook. But I think for folks that are just starting out running ads, they can be kind of overwhelmed by all the different options.
Oh, yeah, there are tons of options. My new favorite are the carousel ads.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can showcase, if you don't have the time to do a video where you would obviously be able to showcase lots of products or lots of opportunities or whatever it is you're wanting to sell. The carousel ads are static images, and I think it's up to 10 now that you can do in an album. I don't recommend 10 because people aren't going to click through that many usually. 3 to 5 is kind of the sweet spot, but it's just so easy, and I think people stop more when they see that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I mean, a single image can just get lost in the feed as you're scrolling through, and when you see, because it's a smaller shape, so you kind of know that there's more than one and that you can keep clicking. At least as a consumer, it makes me stop. And I've seen success with clients who use the carousel ads.
I think the lead form ads is a really cool new
Those are
one,
cool.
because you can have people sign up right there on Facebook on the ad. You don't have to have them take that extra step of going to your website and filling out a form. They can do it right through Facebook, and Facebook will kind of auto-generate some of the information already that's already in their profile. So their name, they don't have to retype in everything. So I think that's been really successful with clients, that we've gotten some good, leads for clients through that type of ad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on that same point, I love the offer ads.
Mm-hmm.
Because and if you've just got enough of a compelling offer, say it's like this much, some special pricing, or some special financing, or deal off, instant conversion.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can measure whether or not this deal or this product or what you're trying to offer is actually compelling.
I've had clients who have used those though, and we've seen conversions. I mean, they obviously you can set your max quantity at 25, and then the ad will automatically stop once it's been used. And then I